So how to overcome the victim mentality and release the victim mentality so that it never affects you again. I call it the VOOOV method. Now, bear with me, and if you stay to the end, well, make sure you stay to the end so that you understand the whole process, so that you can get as much as possible from this video, so that you can never be the victim again, so that you can catch it and become the victor. And the way I explain the VOOOV method is you go from victim to victor, and there's just a little ooh in the middle, hence because it's VOOOV. It's a stupid joke, I know, but makes me laugh, works, and I know this process works. I use it with my clients as well. Before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button and that bell icon, and also drop in the comments below I've subscribed, so I can personally reply to every single comment that puts I've subscribed. So the first V and the first O are kind of intertwined, and it starts as victim, and then we go to overthink. And when I say overthink, that really is the victim role. The victim's role is to overthink, is to think that it doesn't deserve, is to think that you don't deserve, or that you're not gonna get that, or poor me, woe is me, oh, I'm never gonna get that, or this always happens to me. Is thinking in that way. And I want to ask you this question: is that ever going to create anything good in your life? Thinking that life is awful, thinking that bad things always happen to you, is that going to create anything good in your life? And I'll let you come up with that answer and put it in the comments below. Put Q1, yes or no. What do you think? Because what I want you to do is I actually want you to get to this point. And the reason being is we need to associate the victim mentality with that of the VOOOV method. So whenever the victim mentality comes out, I want you to remind yourself, and that's all it is. Victim mentality, VOOOV method. So when the victim mentality comes out, the VOOOV method appears. And it's kind of like when there's fire, water appears. That's the process I want you to do. The VOOOV method is the water to the fire that is starting. And if you allow yourself time, put that fire out with the water, what is going to happen? Q2. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Because when you actually start the VOOOV method, the key to starting the VOOOV method is to actually allow yourself time to overthink, to think like that, to think, oh, bad things always happen to me. Why is this going to happen? And I do this all the time. Whenever something negative happens, or I'm feeling a bit stressed, or I'm feeling a bit worried, or I'm feeling a bit nervous, I will always remind myself it's actually okay to do that. And I will actually sit there and go, why am I feeling stressed? Because I'm just pissed off. I'm just annoyed with this. But then I move to the next O, which is the most important O, which is observation, or observe. And the key with this bit is to have some sort of pattern interrupt. And a pattern interrupt is anything simple as like a click, a clap, a roll back on your chair, a step back, a step forward, even a pinch, something like that can interrupt the normal pattern of what would usually happen, so that when you begin to overthink, you're stopping yourself in your tracks to then think logically. Because if there's a fight between emotion and logic, emotion will always win. So if we interrupt the pattern, we interrupt the emotional mind, which therefore allows the logical mind to creep in and take action. Because as I said, the emotional mind, and I say this all the time, the emotional mind is like a toddler, and the logical mind is like a babysitter who doesn't know how to babysit. They don't have any training. They do not know what to do. They've never spoke to a kid in their life. The kid starts stamping their feet. The emotional mind starts stamping its feet. The logical mind, the babysitter, cannot get this kid to stop, cannot get this kid to go to bed. So it just gives in and says, okay, what do you want to do? Oh, I just want to watch TV, or I just want to play for 10 more minutes, or I just want to do this, or this. Which then means the logical mind lost and the emotional mind won. The goal is to interrupt that pattern of the emotional mind, interrupt the child, and then creep in with the logical mind to observe and say, what is actually triggering me to overthink? Because we need to be aware of what issues are making us overthink. We need to be aware of what people make us overthink, so that when it gets to the point of changing, we're aware of when it occurs. And just as you can see here, a clever person solves a problem, a wise person avoids it. Albert Einstein. So if you can find ways to avoid the problems from occurring, then we can catch the triggers, we can release what's going on, and we can change our state of being, which therefore will change our personality. And just as Joe Dispenza says, when you change your personality, you begin to change your personal reality. Therefore, you start attracting new things into your life. You start changing your life. So once you've interrupted the pattern, once you've allowed yourself to observe what's going on, what is triggering the issue, what is making you become the victim, what is making you overthink. Now, I always say to people, we shouldn't be dictated by our external reality, how we feel internally. So what happens outside shouldn't make us feel bad inside, essentially. If someone punched you in the face, that shouldn't make you angry. Now, I'm not saying it's as easy as just turning that off, because you've learned to speak a language which is react in life. And that's perfectly normal. That's perfectly okay. It's about making those shifts and saying, what does trigger the victim mentality? Once we've overthought, we need to move to an observation to say, what is it that's triggering it? Then we need to move to an outcome, which is, how do I want to be feeling in these situations when they next occur? Now, I'm not saying you're going to do this every single time. Every single time. What I'm saying is that you can do this when it occurs. The more times you do this, the easier it's going to become, just like learning a language. And you can do this if you allow yourself time to practice. Just like playing tennis. When you first played tennis, when you first played golf, when you first wrote in a book, the handwriting wasn't great. The tennis wasn't great. The golf swing wasn't great. But the more you practice, what happens? The easier it becomes. It's like repetition. Well, it is repetition. The more you do something, the easier it becomes. It's like riding a bike, tying your shoelaces, anything. And when you get to that outcome, you know how you want to be thinking, how you want to be feeling, which then gives you the chance and opportunity to create exactly how it is you want to be. Now, as I said, don't expect this to happen first time every time. It can and will happen first time, but it doesn't always happen first time. So if you want it to happen first time, just begin practicing. And if it doesn't, that's okay. It's like getting sad. It's okay to get sad. It's okay to get angry. But what's not okay is to allow that to consume you for the rest of your life. It's okay to do bad things in life, because we can always forgive ourselves and allow other people to forgive us. And not everyone will forgive us. And again, that is okay. We can't change the world. We can't change everything. But what we can change is ourselves, which can have a reflection on the world, which then changes everything around us, how we are, how we think, and how we be. Because once you've done that, you class it as the next V, which is the victor. You've become the victor when you've changed your state of being. And there's loads of different things that you can do to change as well, like instant things like breath techniques. And if you want any breath techniques, let me know. I've got one coming out very soon that is instant for relaxation, to reduce stress, to reduce anxiety. Literally in the space of 5 to 10 minutes, you can reduce it very quickly, very quickly. But use this method as the way of thinking, because then we change our mind. The breathing techniques can change our body, which then combining them two together will change the soul. You will go from philosopher to initiate to master, from thinking to doing to being, because the end outcome of being, the state of mind that you want to be, is going to be how you feel for the rest of your life. So if your state of being is stressed, worried, pissed off, frustrated, what's going to happen in your life? If your state of being is calm, cool, collected, happy, positive, what is going to happen in that scenario as well? So with that being said, use the VOOOV method to change your life, to stop the victim mentality. Have an amazing day. Keep spreading love, keep spreading kindness, and so much positivity. Yeah.